Good morning. I would like to draw your attention to 1 Kings chapter 8. We'll be looking at two verses. In fact, it's a prayer request from King Solomon. In 1 Kings chapter 8, something wonderful is taking place. It's the dedication of Solomon's temple. And in the beginning of the chapter, it talks about the wonderful things, how this temple has been brought about, the great care, the effort into building this. The ark is placed in the newly constructed temple. The glory of the Lord fills the temple. Solomon addresses the people that are gathered. And then in verse 22, he begins to pray. He approaches the Lord reverently. He's standing up. He's raising his hands. He's kneeling down with his hands raised. He's praying to the Lord, coming confidently, but yet sincerely as well. I would like to focus just a few moments on verse 31 and 32. Because Solomon begins to give special requests, and I think this can be a great encouragement. Let me read verses 31 and 32. When anyone sins against his neighbor and is forced to take an oath and comes and takes an oath before your altar in this temple, then hear in heaven and act and judge your servants, condemning the wicked, bringing his way on his head, and justifying the righteous by giving him according to his righteousness. Solomon's first request is this: Lord, would you judge righteously? People will be coming to this new temple. There's going to be fights and disagreements. There's this interpersonal struggle. And it's typically, in this context, someone taking an oath where one person would say, you did this against me. And the other person says, no, I didn't. And you don't know who's telling the truth. You don't have any witnesses. You might have in the context property damage. It might be fraud. Some type of typical interpersonal conflict where we're just not exactly sure what's right. And so what does Solomon pray? He says, when those kinds of situations come, would you please, verse 32, hear in heaven and act and judge your servants, condemning the wicked by bringing his way on his own head, Lord. In other words, one of these guys is lying. Someone is not here telling the truth. Lord, would you please righteously judge that person? And would you justify the righteous? Maybe in this dispute, one side is being hurt, maybe being taken advantage of. Would you please justify the righteous according to his righteousness? You know, I can think of many times where people have asked us to pray for themselves, for their family. They're going through a difficult time. There's just misunderstandings. Maybe it's with parents, siblings, children. And there are just claims that are being made, accusations one against another that are simply not right. And it's a difficult situation. It becomes kind of a he said, she said. We really don't know what's right. We really don't know what to believe. We're not there. There's obviously great conflict. What do we do in those kinds of situations? Well, Solomon here is praying that there is certainly something that always is appropriate for us to do. So even as you think about perhaps today you have some challenges that are going on interpersonally, misunderstandings. You've been accused of something you didn't do. Or maybe some other great conflict going on. Solomon is praying, Lord, would you judge righteously in this interpersonal dispute? And certainly the Lord can do that. And may we follow Solomon's example today. And when these situations arise, to take it to the Lord. He's concerned about those problems. He's concerned about that situation. And we can have confidence that he will judge righteously.